Adding a new user, uh, we'll first have to have a link to the new user. So before I do that, I think I want to add a title to this page here. So let's like say page 2, something like users. Put this inside the div, flex item center. Then we'll have like something like justify between, and then I can copy one of the actions here. Okay, so this will be like a new user, and I'll copy an add icon here. I think I want to use this cycle one for some reason. I don't know what it is. Okay, let's see how this looks first. Okay, so we have that. There's imagine, I don't understand that. It's imagine right here. Okay, so you could with buttons, the color thing I was saying earlier doesn't really apply to buttons. Like with buttons, I think you can totally you can use the theme color with buttons. So I'm going to add the theme color there. Make this large. By default, Tailwind comes with normalize. If you don't know what normalize, this is basically this CSS library that clears out the default browser stylings so that you can style everything from scratch the way you want it. It's actually very popular. I've actually used it with my projects even before I started using Tailwind, because it will give you so much power it gives you a very good starting point. So one of the things you'd remember is it removed the margins by default on the body. So normal is one of those popular internet things, or rather development things if you're a web dev. So I text large there, maybe text Excel. I'm going to close out my WhatsApp. Okay, and then maybe say font bold or semi bold. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. Moving now, put some space there. I'm going to put like margin top maybe 8, something like that, and then margin bottom 3. So yeah, something like that. Maybe 4, maybe 5. So yeah, something like that. I could maybe increase the size to Excel. Okay, moving on. So now that we have the link there, we can use the link to go to the new page. I think could actually increase the size of this icon here to something like that. This is a more prominent button, and you might want to experiment with something like making this rounded. I don't know, see. Not necessary, but sometimes those look a little bit prettier. But no, I'm going to leave it where it was, but that's something you could explore, a direction you could explore. Yeah, so let's link that to the next page. So the next page, I'm not sure if you saw it the other time I was testing this out, was at here. So we'll give this /add user. Okay, so ignore this part if you don't know what Laravel, because this is just a Laravel way of doing links. Yeah, And so click that, we're taken here, and then let the magic begin. So yeah, so this is obviously a very involved form. So one thing I want to do is well, I actually like the use of horizontal space here. I I always like my labels to be on top. So this is one of those form. I have this form library I carry around with me everywhere, every project I go with, where I just formatted this my forms, something like that. So and this has a maximum width on it. Let's see what the maximum width is. Where is it? Add user. Let's increase that maximum width maybe to XL, maybe 5. No, let's actually add a border here, or a BG. Actually, I like a BG better. Okay, so background 300, 200, something around there, maybe 100. Yeah. Let's add some just enough padding, and then I want to turn this to like a 5XL. That is too much. Okay, something around there. Okay, nice. Now let's move on. Maybe make this a little bit rounded and give it some sort of shadow, just to make it a little bit interesting. Yeah, I can't really see the shadow, right? Yeah. So something you could do here, you could flip this. So you could do something like sadly I can do I could just do something like this. Body, background red, background color. Yeah, I could do something like that. You could flip. Might not work in every case, but I think I want to use it in this case. That way, then this can just stay BG white. Okay, let's give it a margin at the top there. Okay, so I think I want to reduce this to 2XL again. Let's just look a little bit better. I'm going to copy the title from the user list page, because every page needs a title, obviously. And I think I'm going to move this out of the form. I don't like having too many stylings on the form. I like forms to just be forms. So I'm just going to move these styles to here and then put the form inside. Okay. Okay. Or you could say new user. Yeah. Let's make this rounded a little bit further. MD maybe. Yeah, and then shadow is too much. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so let's give this spacing a little bit to the bottom. I think I want to increase this size of that a little bit. Not necessary. Let's just add a margin bottom here. Okay, so yeah, now let's get to the form itself. So I always like using full width inputs. Sorry, mind freeze there. So I'll just add that in. Obviously that doesn't apply to every input, only some inputs. So you can't obviously add much width to radio buttons, so I'm just going to leave those as they are. Now this is one of those things that Bootstrap does that makes their forms look very realistic, is they add shadows and rounded corners. So I'm going to restore those. Actually these are inset shadows. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So you see it's so subtle. Look at here, there's some sort of shadow effect there. If I remove it, you see it just looks like a plain form. But if I add it, it just feels a little bit more natural. And then they all, like I said, they have a border radius on there as well. So yeah, there we have it. Those look like a little bit more natural forms. We could maybe reduce this to a 4, I don't know, something around there. Yeah, so the next step would be to, I think those labels are not helping, a little bit too small. Let's see if we can fix that. Can I increase my label font sizes? Okay, so there we have it. The labels are done, and then I want to have some padding on these guys just to make each field breathe a little bit. So let's put this as 2.5, 0.25. Yeah, so there you have it. I obviously cheated a little bit because I came with my own library here, but you can actually do this on your own, or you could hit me up. I could give you this formatting here so that you don't go and bring in Bootstrap. This is like 60 lines of code, so that you don't go and bring in Bootstrap just to do this. So yeah. Okay, moving on. So what can we start here with? Oh yeah, there's actually something that was very obvious to me at the end here. The favorite song. I decided I would actually want the favorite song to be a string, because normally with these forms, with these things, somebody wants to just see what your favorite song is, not play it. You could let them play it, but then I think something else that was concerning for me is like copyright infringement. You're making somebody go online, find somebody's song, download it, upload it to your website. You're just wasting file space, while the most common thing would be somebody would just want to know what is your favorite song, a particular song, and then they can go and research it if they want to, and they can also go and use YouTube or Spotify or whatever means they use to find their songs and play them. So yeah, so this is what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to find a way to make these guys more interesting, the hobbies here. So we'll probably look at that at some point. And then one of the first things I'll do here is I think the male and female radio buttons can be styled better. So I'm going to start there. So okay, so I'm going to hide the inputs. Okay. Okay. And then obviously, so this being hidden doesn't change anything because I can sorry. Yeah, so yeah, anyway, I'm going to use a trick in a little bit that I'm going to show you how to do that, but for the timing I'm going to call this for male gender male, and then this for gender female. Okay, and then do that, copy that, and then use the same ID on the inputs here. So yeah, there we have it. Yeah, so that way, even though it's not inside there, I can still click to select the male, and still click the label to select the female. So yeah, and then obviously the last thing I want to do is hide, like I said, hide those inputs. Okay, so yeah, I think we've gone in too far in this video. You know, let's just finish styling the gender and the gender items, and then we'll probably continue from there with the form in the next video. So BG gray, PY2, PX3, rounded, MD maybe, or maybe large, MD, and then text extra small or maybe small, and then uppercase. How does that look? Forgot to add the level here. Okay. Line flex. Let's just add a width there. Yeah, now this is where my library is coming into failing to play well with Tailwind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this class input driver here so that I can style things manually. There you go. Okay, maybe 4. Okay, so from there I can just remove the width I just added. Okay, maybe let's make this block. Okay, so yeah, nice. So now I don't like this MD here, it looks too far there. That's more like it. Let's have a margin right here. Okay, let's use a lighter gray. So like say something at 50-ish. Okay, maybe 100, 200. Okay, yeah, I think that would be paired with the border, that would work. Go to the border itself. Yeah, something like that. And then I think I can reduce the PY here, the vertical padding. I don't know, I like the other one, so yeah, let's leave it there. Okay, we could maybe increase this to 4. Yeah, and then I thought we could use like a we could use like emojis to show the different genders. So could just search for an emoji here, say male. Oh man. And then we'd have woman in this case. Where? Oh yeah, there she is. Okay. Let's see. There you go. Maybe we can increase the sizes here a little bit. It's gonna be too much, no? No, it doesn't look like it's too much. Okay. Okay, there you go, and then we can just center those guys. Okay, there you go. So yeah, could have give this guy space. Imagine, right? 1, maybe 3. Okay. Yeah. Now I can go back to reduce those paddings just a little bit. And yeah, with that we can move on to the next step. So the next step would be to make sure it only looks checked if it's checked, it's currently selected. So I'm going to add some styling here. I'm going to give this an ID. Let's gender button. Okay. Okay, so there we have the gender buttons. Now the last thing, like I said, is going to make sure the selected one looks selected. So I'm going to remove the BG gray 200 actually, and do some styling myself. So the gender button import checked plus label. BG, let's try and find this color gray here. What color is that? Okay. Okay. I should have a tool for this, I think. But I don't, so I have to figure out other ways to do it. Okay, so by default neither of them is checked, so now when you click one of them, it's going to get checked. So you could get inventive with colors and pick a better color maybe, but yeah, I think this is good for me. Maybe something we could do is use be more efficient with the border. maybe border 2 and border gray from 300. Maybe 100. So yeah, something around there, and then I think that should be it. Reduce this to maybe a pix 2. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it as that and let those guys be, and we'll pick it from there some other time.